Hi all, Hal here with We're Space Engineers, and today, because people have asked, we're going to do some building, and I'm going to show you what we've started working on, because we have started working on some projects. We've made some changes to the ship overall, and yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so, yeah. Happy, let me see, today should be Friday, I believe. If not, happy whatever day it is. If it is Friday, happy Friday. So, we've made some changes. One of the things that we've done is we've gone ahead and put a large reactor into the ship finally. If you remember, this is where the med bay used to be, situated like right here. So we're going to be changing up a little bit of the flooring in here so that we can get the exterior normalized again, so that it hides it a little bit better. In order to get up to the bridge, you just gently jetpack yourself up here, and that gets you up in here. We've added some lights. Turn that off. That way you can see up here. And we still have the hatch on the way out. So all in all, I'm actually liking the way that the whole thing flows together. Because when you're heading out, you can just run down that thing. Really simple. Heading aft, if you remember last time, we connected up the old, I shouldn't say the old, but the assembler array and the oxygen farms and everything. So we have all of our oxygen production aft of the bridge. Heading back, you have the little airlock area here, and that takes you out the back. So we have all of our refineries and everything well aft of everything that we're building in the rest of the ship. Now, we are going to go ahead and mirror this piece here, which is where the cargo blocks are. Hello. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we'll end up having that duplicated, and we'll have more cargo space here. And I'm thinking for the front area, we're not going to change a whole lot, but we are going to turn this whole thing into a ship, and that's what we're working on currently. Now, I do want to put some residential in, so we've got our reactors in here, the small emergency reactors in this node, I believe it is. Should be? Yes. So I'm not going to put anything there, but what I may do, as you can see over here, I've started mirroring what we have on the other side. So I'm thinking this may come out and we'll duplicate the modules that we have up there for where the storage is, and maybe turn this into a residential area. Oh, defense lasers are working. Now, I did turn Bob off because we're working on some expansion stuff. Let me show you. Run little T600. Hello. Yes, we have Terminators in the game now. I mean, look at that model. That is awesome. First time you see that running at you, scares the crap out of you. Alright. And since Bob is just deactivated, we're going to have to pick this stuff up ourselves. So we don't want to lose it, because these things are actually kind of cool, because they will drop all sorts of construction stuff, including things like superconductors. There is also a very rare chance to get reactor components and uranium. Speaking of, but I think the superconductors and uranium are the really rare loot spawns for these guys. Normally, you'll just get general metalwork stuff. You'll get metal plates, interior plates. Every once in a while, you'll get weapons, or even tools. And I think I got one of my tier 2 tools off of these guys. Now, you know, if Bob was active, he would actually be picking this stuff up for us, but that's okay. I don't mind. Hey, power cells. Awesome. Okay, now, what we're doing is, as you can see, we've got a little bit of an expansion area going on down here, and I left part of it unfinished because I wanted to show you what we were doing. So if you notice, there's a bunch of small cargo blocks in here. Now I'm doing small cargo on this, and then it's mirrored on this side. So when it's done, it's going to look like this. And the reason I'm doing small cargo is because this is actually going to be a shipyard area. So you know how we were talking about building the hangar? What I want to do is have the hangar set up where we're going to have a bunch of small mining drones, something similar to the little mining ship we have over there, but a little bit smaller, because it needs to be able to fit out of a 3x2 doorway. And we're going to have 6 of these things, so we're not going to be getting much per mining drone. We're going to have 6 mining drones going out, and then the rest of the center area here is going to be where we'll keep our rover, or once we get into space, maybe a small shuttle. All right, so that's the long-term plan. Short-term plan is actually building this thing. Now I am going to do the general layout on camera for you, so you can see what we're doing. As we go, we'll explain it a little bit as well. And since Bob is turned off, we don't need to worry about Bob getting a little over anxious here and building in things for us. Now eventually we will need to finish separating the ship, because it is still attached to the ground. And in order to make this airtight, we're going to have to put regular blocks under it. Now, what I'm planning on doing is the bottom section under this area will be set up to be heavy steel, the heavy blocks, the heavy armor blocks, so that it can take a little bit more of a beating, and then we'll actually build in landing gear on the entire thing, because the idea is that this thing is going to be able to separate and go into atmosphere, do what you need to do, go do some mining, whatever, give you a temporary base. And then when you're done, the whole thing will take off. Now we're going to be building hydrogen thrusters into it, as well as ion and atmospheric. The ions are basically just going to be maneuvering thrusters, because once you get out of a gravity well, you don't need much to move. It's basically just going to be docking up with the ship. And I will show you how this is expected to work. Just grab 1,000 of these. Alright. So let's turn that off so you can see. So we're going to have 2 small reactors, and then we're going to have a bunch of cargo blocks. Now these cargo blocks are actually going to be hidden behind some fake walls. Basically we're just going to put walkways over them and then encased in. That way you don't really see them all that much. But when you come up here, you have the enclosed airlock, which keeps it all sealed. This whole thing has got air in it, as well as lights. It's supposed to be lit. I might have to change this. But then we'll have the LCD here, and this will give us some ideas on what's going on in the ship. Maybe have connection status, whether or not this whole thing's docked, or, if all of the ships are back in on their connectors. And then out here, we have a merge block attached on top. So there's this merge block, and then there's a second merge block above the door. Then below here, we have 2 mergeless maintenance cubes. And then under this one is a conveyor connector, or a adapter that will take it from the tube to the normal conveyor system to tie the whole thing together. Now the reason we're using mergeless is so that when this separates, we don't have to worry about coming out and breaking this. This should separate for us. And then when we merge it back up, it should link again. These are really nice because they allow you to have an active connection between 2 grids that are able to maintain the status of 2 grids. Very, very important in this kind of a build. So, and then you can see where I started mirroring the rest of the ship out. So. Alright, so heading back down here, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do a little bit more placing. Now I want to get this set up so that we go, I don't know, some ridiculous distance out. I want it to go 1 past that. I want to go, might go 2 past that. And we're going to go this way with it. And it should give you an idea of just how much space we're talking here, because, like I said, the idea is that we were going to have enough room to have a small shuttle, maybe the rover that we have over there. We'll bring that along, and that way, what we can do is once we get into, once we take this thing into space, we find a planet, we just attach this little thing. It becomes our temporary base. And we have the ability to send rovers out, and we'll be able to do auto mining. I found a script that I'm kind of wanting to try, which is what made me think about building this. And if the whole thing doesn't work, well, then we'll just rebuild it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do something like this. Alright. And then when all of this is welded up, we should have a nice little area here. We'll eventually put the hydrogen thrusters and everything on. And I'm going to build the hydrogen tanks so that they are partially exposed. Now, I don't know where I'm going to put these things yet. I may put them on the top. But I was thinking on the sides might be a little bit better. Excuse me. But what I may end up doing is, because this door is 3 wide, 4, 5, I may put hydrogen tanks here instead so that we only have 2 doors. Or maybe put them up here in the front and then 2 in the back here in the corners. So that way we end up with 4 corners of hydrogen, or 4 tank systems of hydrogen, which will be 2 tanks each, if I can get it all to work out the way that I'm hoping to get it to work out. But I do want to get most of this sorted out first. I don't know which way I want to go with it, because we need to be aware of where thrusters are when we're coming back, so we don't burn things. Okay, so if we go, that's going to be that. I'm thinking we'll end up running, let's see here, how are we going to do this? So if we go like this, and then I guess we could. Maybe if we did this. And then, so what I'm thinking here is that this gives us a little bit, something a little bit more interesting to look at, instead of just a large flat area. So if we go that way, now we can repeat that on both sides. Actually, you know what, if we're going to do that, let's just go ahead and do that. So basically we'll just end up with something like this. Flip that up. So this is the fun part of trying to figure out which angles you want to use. Yes, I know, I'm greebling. Alright. So if we go something like that, you do that maybe. Let's go ahead and cut all of this out too. And we go to there, to there. Okay, so let's try that block to that block maybe? Ooh. Yeah, that actually works out. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this stuff out. Well, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and repeat this. And then what I'll do here is maybe go, no, because I'm gonna need the full block. So we're gonna have to definitely get this thing up off the ground. So you go like so. That, did that, to that, is that what we did? Yes, and then we get blocks dropped on us. Okay. Let's take you out. And I think we went that way, right? Yeah. Okay. Now do we want to do that, or did we go? No, okay. So let's do this, this, and so then we cap it and then bring everything back through to meet up to it, which is that. To there. Okay, I'm actually liking the way that line is working out there. Now, the reason why this is important and why we're doing it this way is because I want to have the ability to have a something piped in down here, so we can have, you know, something with a connector, and then it'll have a supply system running across the ceiling. But I want the supplies to actually be inside the ship. I don't want the piping to be seen outside. Or if we want the piping to be seen outside, then we can just put windows over it all. So I'm thinking here we're gonna go conveyor. It's gonna get you out of there. Put the conveyor right there, and I am out of interior plates because I didn't pick any interior plates up, just steel plates. So and get that in. And then, like I said, part of this, and part of the reason why I have Bob disabled is because I don't want Bob building all of this stuff yet. That way we have a chance to go through and figure out exactly what it is we want to do and how we want to do it all. So, alright, so let's go ahead and get that in. And then I left that. Alright. Okay. So that gets us most of what we're looking for. And now we'll go ahead and do the rest of the plates. Well, I should say the blast doors. And then the reason we're using blast doors, for those who don't know, we do have block damage turned on, so thrusters from ships can burn the blocks. The larger the thruster and the different types of thrusters will do different amounts of damage. So you do need to be careful of that. And these have enough plates on them that it's not really an issue if you, you know, have a large hydrogen thruster sitting on it for a second or two. Now it will eventually burn through, obviously, but it has enough plates that it'll take enough damage that you can generally take off and land without doing too much damage. And with Bob in place, he'll keep it all repaired for us. So, okay, I think that's all of this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the door system that we have on the other side over here. Let Bob weld some of this up, and then we'll talk about the doors back here and figure out how we want to run those. All right. So yeah, we will be right back. And we're back. So, as you can see, it is well into the in-game night. We may actually be coming up on dawn. So let me show you what we've got going on here. Besides the Terminator spawning trying to kill us. That was actually rather well timed. Alright, so let's go drop this stuff off really quick. So I'm still using some unique items, you know, to find where I'm at in inventory. Actually works really well. And we're gonna go drop off an extra welder. Alright. So, we've been letting Bob run. We made some design changes and made a few choices. As you can see, we've gone ahead and got the reactors online. Got an idea for what I want to do for the roof. Now, one of the things that we want this place to do is we need it to be self-sustainable. But we also need it to be able to detach. So we had to basically place some ramp blocks here so that it wouldn't latch onto the yield modules. Because what happens is, let me grab a block here. We'll just grab a regular armor block. The yield modules and any of the expansion modules for the for things like the refineries and the assemblers are mountable on all sides, so you can actually attach things to them. So in order to keep that from happening, you have to go with an angled block, right? So what we're going to do is basically we're going to do this. We're going to turn that off, and then here we bring it back one and flip it up, I believe we did. Right. So we did that, and I want to say it starts here. And because of the way air tightness works in this, come here, you. Alright. That should be too far. Actually, no, that looks like that should be... Nope, I did one too far. Alright. But you at least get the idea for what we're going for. Now, what I do want to have in this is I want to have a refinery in here. Actually, I'm going to put 2 in and a couple of assemblers. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because we do want this thing to be self-sufficient. But the problem that we run into, so let me show you really quick, is that this thing only has enough room for 2 spaces. So what we're going to end up doing is being a little sneaky about it. So we know we have a little bit of room in here for the height, right? So we're going to try doing something like this, where it will attach like so. Right? And then, instead of having it attach with regular blocks, we're going to use half blocks. So we'll have this thing actually encased inside the ship for us. So let me go regular blocks here. Alright. And then we're going to take this like so. And then we're going to go like that. And what this will allow us to do, at least hopefully, what this will allow us to do, is to have the whole thing set up so that we will be able to have refineries as well as assemblers in here. I'm not too worried about the efficiency modules, mainly because of the fact that this is not our primary refinery. In fact, you shouldn't be pulling anything in yet, but just in case, we'll turn that off just to save ourselves a little power. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Pardon me, hiccups. And then once again, we are going to go like this in order to give us a place to attach things. And then I'm thinking we just do this to close that section off. And then here, I don't know if I'm going to put, you know what? Let's check something really quick. Let's grab some interior plates, because I know we've got some. There we go. If we don't, we've got a huge problem. Okay. And we're just going to put some pass-throughs up here. And I'm thinking here what we will do is do this to make sure that it is actually sealed. We're going to continue that down the way here. And again, all of this is to make sure that our ship is not latching on to the things above it. Mainly because I don't want to have to come back and grind things off in order to get the ship to separate. That would be bad. So now we do actually have room if we wanted to do a couple of more assemblers on either side. We'd be able to do that, and then we could, or refineries rather, and we should have enough room to put a assembler here. Or if we really wanted to get fancy, yeah, we could go, let's see, if we did that We could do the same thing over here. We just flip it so that it's in line. Come here, you. There we go. And then you are that to there, right? Yep. There you go. And then we just basically go out here and we finish off the front of this, which looks like we went and screwed it up somehow. What are you? You are corner. Wow, that was interesting to look at. Not quite what I was wanting there. And then like so and like so. There we go. And that gets us a little bit more along the lines of what we're trying to do. Okay. Now the reason why I'm adding the flat spaces in here is because I'm going to be putting the thrusters in. Like I said, I'm planning on having atmospheric thrusters and hydrogen thrusters. We've gone ahead and added in the tanks back here, and we've that like almost 500,000 ice that we had has been converted into gas. So yeah, it's not really holding a whole lot. And then we have the little windows in here just because, you know, you get to see a little bit of the detail work. I might replace these as well. Let's get rid of that so you can see. I may replace these and make them the windows in the same way, mainly because it gives you a little bit more sense of space in here. But I kind of like having the windows like this. Now, if we had a light block mod that allowed one of those blocks to actually be a light emitter, I think it'd be a little bit better. But it is what it is, and we've got things figured out. So I did go ahead and place one hangar door to get an idea of what the spacing and size would look like. Unfortunately, the regular door is not big enough. So we're going to have to probably add a different door mod in, or maybe... Did I... Oh, let me see. I added a bunch of... Where are you? Shoot the control table. Awesome. I added a bunch of different block mods, and I'm trying to remember if I added in... There's a force field block, and I don't remember if I added it. Oh, I'm hoping I did. If not, I have it on my list. I can add it in. It looks like I didn't. Okay. So basically, it's a force field block that is the energy shield from Star Wars. So you know how when you see the hangar bays, that's basically what it is. And I'm thinking we'll use that to try and keep this entrance as large as possible, because I want to be able to get this rover in. And the problem that we run into with it is that this rover is something like 3 blocks tall, I think, roughly. Yeah, so 2.5 blocks. And so this thing to this entrance is 3 blocks, which means it's not going to fit through there. So I'm going to have to figure out something to do with that. I don't know, I may drop the back down a little bit. Or extend this out. And we'll end up covering this to make it all airtight. Because, I mean, I could get away with doing something like this. And then encasing it out here somehow. And that would make it airtight. But I don't know if that's what I want to do. And they keep dropping stuff over there. It's kind of annoying. Alright, so I do think that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank you all for stopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, always feel free to throw those down in the section below. You can also drop comments or questions over on our Discord channel. Links are down in the description. Or you can find me over on Twitter. So, you know, I'm kind of easy to get a hold of. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Have a terrific week. And we will see you back here next time for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Oh, so much more little stuff to add in, but we're almost done.